Think about it like a radio frequency that is tuned to the channel of love. Now, the sooner you can tune your inner vibration or inner energy to that frequency of love, the sooner you are going to perceive of that reality on the outside. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that fast. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now, when we're talking about manifesting love and understanding that we are at our essence, that is the energy that we are naturally. And it's important to understand that, because when we think that we have this necessity that we have to have someone else in our life in order for us to feel love, then we prolong that emotional feeling. And when we prolong that feeling, we'll then go out into the world with the intention of attracting love, but we'll find it hard to find because we're not in that actual frequency ourselves. We can only perceive that which we are the vibration of, that which we are the energy of. And if we're feeling a lack of love, then what's going to happen is we're going to go out into the world projecting out an energy that says, I don't feel love, I feel a lack of love, because when we want something, we vibrationally are saying we don't have it. Energetically, we're saying that. And when we switch that energy around and we instead feel it on the inside first, that's when we're going to perceive of it in our reality. And for that, there's one quick thing that I've learned that makes all the difference in the world. And to do that, let's go ahead and look at our handy dandy notebook in there. All right, now to show this idea, I thought I would come in here and show you my handy dandy notebook. And on it at the top, you'll see rules of love. Now, I'll tell you first off right now as well, anytime I've intended to attract love into my life, the more I really wanted it, the more I would be thinking about this other person, the more I would be sending that person resistant energy, because in my mind and in my own head about it, thinking, oh, I wish they were in my life, that caused a lot of resistance. The game changed for me when I let go and understood that I'm good either way. Whether I have someone in my life that's reflecting back that love, or whether I fill up my own cup, the most important thing is, how do I feel about myself? Now, the reason behind this is because many of us have rules that say, when someone else is in my life, then I can be happy. That's also something that came from Disney movies. We see Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and she's got 7 dwarfs that love her, but no, she's got to have the love of some prince. You see what I mean? Can she have it all? Because the rule in her own mind was, no, I can't have these 7 dwarfs. I need this one prince. Think about how ridiculous that is, how high standards Snow White had, and how that primed all of us to believe that we need that special someone, that if we just had them, then we could finally feel whole and complete. You see, it becomes this never-ending cycle, and we've been conditioned to believe that's what we need to be happy. And we look into the world, and that's what we assume. And understand that this is honestly one of the most powerful parts about attracting love that we must understand. Story. What is your story about love? What is the story about how you attract love into your life? What is the story about how you feel self-love for yourself? If you're highly critical of yourself, you'll find it harder to love yourself. The more rules we have about what it takes to love ourselves, the harder it is to love ourselves. If we're like, oh, well, I have to be perfect, I have to have the perfect job, I have to do this every day, and this, and this, and then I can love myself, you're prolonging that emotion. And remember, think of this like 500 FM, if that's a radio station. 500 FM is love. You want to tune to love. How quickly can you feel love within yourself? I used to work with someone, I told this story once or twice before, but I used to work with somebody that had that she would never get hit on by guys. And what would happen is the week she gets into a relationship or starts dating someone else, she then gets hit on by like 8 guys in 1 week, when prior to that, she said it'd be like 8 guys in 6 months. What is the difference there? The difference is the rule in her mind that said, now I'm with someone that's reflecting this appreciation back to me, and now I give myself permission to feel love. I have a rule that's been met, a blueprint that's been met in my mind. Now I'm going to exude out love, and guess what? Guy after guy after guy in one day will be hitting on her, asking her out. All that changed was a blueprint in her mind was met, and she decided, okay, now I can feel self-love. So That's how it works though. If we can feel the self-love first, then those things will happen faster, happen so much faster. I've seen it happen in so many people's lives and even my own life. The more I feel self-love, the more I feel gratitude for myself, the more I appreciate myself, and the more I also do this one thing. I'm gonna share with you over there. Oh wow, look, it's a new environment. Yay, even more fun. So the one thing that you must do is make it natural for you to feel love. View yourself as loving yourself, plus seeing other people as loving you, as natural for your current self-image. Now here's the thing, imagine that you think of someone and you're like, whoa, this person is a 10 out of 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, they are just the primo, the top of the batch, whatever you want to call it. In your mind, you think of them up here on a pedestal, and you're like, well, me, I'm like a 5. And that's the self-image you're projecting out. When you talk to that person, the frame is, you are amazing, I really hope everything goes well. And remember, if you treat someone like a celebrity, they're gonna treat you like a fan. It's just how the energy dynamic goes. So when that happens, they feel that resistance, you feel that resistance, and then it becomes something that isn't natural. The key is seeing it as natural, putting yourself at the same level, everyone else at the same level. We have this idea in our mind about how we rank people, and it's something that's been conditioned into us. But when you let go of that ranking, you're then able to see things as more natural. And anytime I've done this in my own life, I get amazing results. Now, whether that was me attracting this house, for example, which now I live in, and I just moved in like 2 weeks ago, and I'm not trying to flaunt it or anything, be like, look at me, look how cool I am, but I see this as natural for me. I don't see this as, oh my gosh, this would be amazing, because if I did, then the energy wouldn't be in alignment. Everything got into place because I viewed this as natural for my current self-image. I'm somebody that creates content, that helps people, and as a side effect of that, I get to live in a nice house because I see that as natural. Now, same thing with love. Attracting love into your life, see it as natural for you to love yourself. See it as natural and have it be a part of your self-image. Become aware of your self-image too about love. What is your self-image regarding love and yourself? Are you, and what is your story about love? Do you think, oh, I always attract a certain type of guy into my life. I always attract certain type of girl into my life, or I always attract some type of, emotionally unavailable person, or they always like to control me. For the longest time, I had my own beliefs about this, because what happened was my dad I saw go through 2 divorces. I started to associate pain with getting married because I saw that it always ended up in divorce. At least that's the way it appeared to me. And I found myself resisting even relationships sometimes because I love freedom so much. I started to associate relationships with that of loss of freedom. Therefore, I would find myself resisting a relationship. Now, on one hand, be aware of your story about that, because maybe on one hand, you're like, I want a relationship, I want to manifest love, but maybe part of you is afraid that if you do manifest love, that you're going to lose yourself, you're going to lose your own freedom, you're going to be told what to do. Maybe you had a parent that was very nitpicky and was telling you what to do when you were a kid. The point of what I'm sharing today is understanding your story about love, understanding your story about who you are, and understanding the rules you take for what it takes for you to feel love for you now. And one of the best ways to feel love now is for you to focus more on being who you are and also doing what you are passionate about. When you are in your passion, it doesn't seem related, but it relates to so many different areas of life. When you are doing something you're passionate about, you are in your core energy. That's who you really are. Then you can attract someone that reflects that back to you, and that is almost a one-on-one reflection because you're putting out the authentic core of who you are. Remember, you always get a reflection of who you are being. And if you're being someone that's not loving yourself, you might attract someone else that can't really truly love you, that doesn't have that capacity because maybe they don't feel that self-love within themselves. So the key to this video and understanding manifesting love fast is how quickly can you realize that the source of love is actually within you. You are putting out a core energy, you are putting out a core frequency, and just like a radio dial, if you tune yourself to that of 500, let's say 500 FM, if your inner alignment is at that frequency, what you'll find is other people pick up on that as well. It's literally a contagious energy. People will find more ways to appreciate that within you. And let me show you one other thing that's really important to understand with this. And it's a thing that a lot of people miss, even myself. I thought for the longest time there were certain insecurities I had about myself. What you want to do is whatever your flaws are, you want to own them. You want to own your flaws. People feel what you feel about yourself. People feel if you were like self-conscious about it. Even when I started making YouTube videos, if I was like, oh, I'm talking about some esoteric idea, will you guys like it? I hope you guys really like it. Please like it. It's very important that you respond in a certain way. It's an energy of resistance. But if I just own it, I'm like, this is what I'm talking about today. This is what I love talking about. This is who I really am. You feel that on the other side of it, and you're more open to it. You see, people feel what you feel. What if somebody was afraid, let's say, afraid that they were let's say they were afraid that they were from a certain culture. They were afraid they're from India or something like that. And they thought that they like meditation, maybe not, maybe that's just a stereotype. But in general, maybe part of the cultures, they love meditation, they love eating certain types of food, and they're like, this is gonna be weird to people. People might think it's weird if I'm in the United States and this is the way it is. But if instead, imagine they just own it. They're like, I love meditation, I love this, or whatever it is, and they just own it. Or they like some weird rock group band. I like spiritual music like Enigma. You ever heard of them? Or Enya? Kind of girly music a little bit, but I own it. This is what I like. I like the spiritual music. For me, connects me into myself, and I love that. And the more I own my own things that I think people will judge me for, the more I self-love myself, and the more I own it. And when I'm putting out that frequency that I love myself, I'm putting out that frequency of love, then what happens is I end up attracting more and more people to reflect that emotion back to me. So the main key to this video is feeling self-love for yourself. And you might say, well, how do I feel more self-love? You feel gratitude for who you are, and you own who you are. And you realize that you might have all these reasons. Understand, when we talk about the chart of consciousness, which if you've never heard before, I have videos on it. I'll link one of the videos that explains the chart of consciousness below. But the chart of consciousness, 500 and above, you have shame, fear, guilt, then you have reasoning, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. As you raise your vibration, you start to feel better and better, and it's more in alignment with who you are. The level of love is above that of reasoning. What reasons do you have? What rules do you have for love? And if you get rid of those rules, guess what ends up happening? You feel self-love now. It's like love isn't about something that you actually have to necessarily do. It's something you just let go of what doesn't serve of, and it naturally surfaces because love is who you are. So this is a shift in paradigm. This is a shift in that perspective. But understand that the more you tap into your own self-love, the more you feel that emotion, the more your life will change. And if you haven't seen that Attract Love meditation that I have, it's the most popular video I have on my YouTube channel, or the second most popular one. It's got 1.6 million views. It's insane how many people in the comments have said they've attracted love from that meditation and listened to it for 21 days. So if you want to attract love, read the comments. It'll increase the belief that you see it's possible for you. Listen to it for 21 days, realize you are love, and watch you attract love faster than you can even imagine. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace, much love, and namaste.